Alright, so shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna start off by saying Barakathon, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, and Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole field, starting with the 144,000, shalom. So, Lord willing, right? I want to play a part of the video. And I do not own the copyright to the video, which it shouldn't be copyrighted, but you know, last time I did this, YouTube kind of like flagged my video. So this for edification purposes and fair use. Right.
Local time. So for those that don't know, that's usually.
So what I want to go to is watch this
And a lot
Eddie Ashawamba, right? And Lord willing, you see I'm around about 15 minutes. And Spirit hit me quick, and I wanted to go into it while the Spirit was on me. Lord was popping into video, but I want you to hear what he said about how they're pushing something about, inserting a chip into like the prisoners and insert a chip into their brains so they can feel the empathy of, basically they can control the prisoners, right? With that putting their with that chip and brain. But we know Esau uses ordo ab chao, right? And the accuser of our brethren, right? As right here going into, but I want you to hear what he said. He's going into the fact of how Esau has always been sizing up his prey. That snake, that serpent, is always sizing up his prey. And he's using situations in certain chaos situations, certain bad situations to usher in his MOTB, usher in his new world order, Right, so, well, it's edifying. Right, let's see, by the time you said it, bear with me.
And we'll get into that, all right, because, hey, what is that? Second Esdras, corruption is being overcome. Second Esdras chapter 6 and 28, as for faith it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. Okay, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. This is where we are. All right, so those who are wicked on the left-hand side, all right, starting with Esau, Edom, and even our own people, they're going to tap into the flesh to try to bring a great accusation against the men of the Lord. And a lot of these latest shooters were people who were once in trouble with the law, but were let out. Okay? Given the notion that we shouldn't allow these people to be wiggling around. See, Esau, Edom is setting up the perfect accusation, right? If you're sober, you can see it. And we've been seeing it, for years. Vocab Malone is a part of that accusation, as he's been set with the task of linking Hebrew Israelites, or what he called Hebrew Israelism. At one point, he called us black Hebrew Israelites, but he's trying to, tone it down. But, and call us just, Israelites or Hebrew Israelism. His job was to tie us to domestic terror in a form of linking us to Islamic extremists. Okay? And we know that's a big part of, the Christian nationalist, talking point is against, Islam and, those who speak against the small hats. Pretty soon it's going to be those who speak against AI, as we'll show you.
Right, so as you're seeing, right, Esau is trying to, very edifying, man, he brought out a great, valid point, right? Because Esau, right, he's trying to use certain things, and like I said, the lesson I just did, going into how they trying to enter the chip to those prisoners, right? They're trying to use these things to usher in the new world order, right? Order ab chao. We'll search it up again. I know I went into it the other day. Latin phrase, order ab chao, right? Order ab chao is Latin phrase that translates order out of chaos. It represents the philosophical concept of bringing structure, logic, and harmony out of confusion, conflict, or random disorder, right? And this is what Esau is, this is what he wants to use, right? Speaking this truth, right? Yahushua told us that. Let's see, what is that? I want to say that's John 15. Yeah, right here, John 15, right? And after verse 19, it says, "You are of the world will love his own. But because you're not of the world, I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore, the world hated you. Remember the word that I said unto you: the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. They have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things were they doing to you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. This is the point, man. They're gonna come upon those elect, right? With the gonna come upon the chosen men, Yahweh with great accusations, with great persecutions, right? Let's go to Matthew 10, right? Matthew 10, and Yahweh sent the 12. He sent the 12 to go talk to the Israelites that was amongst the Samaritans, right? Right. I read verse 5 and 6 to give a good insight. Right. It says these 12 Yahweh sent forth and commanded them, saying, "Go into the way of the Gentiles, and go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Right. Because you had many people that came into that land. You had Israelites amongst Samaritans, right? You had all the people who Solomon saw had brought into the land, right? So we want to jump down, right, to verse 16, right? It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Go, be ye therefore wise as serpent, harmless as doves. But be aware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils. They will scourge you in their synagogues." Right? And this was going to get to the point of speaking this truth, speaking this word. It's going to be considered hate speech, right? U.S. officials. It's like for my lousy spelling. Restrict. Also, I should say putting restrictions. Let's see what it says. Look, this is what it says, right? U.S. officials frequently discuss placing restrictions on the First Amendment, typically targeting what they classify as harmful or dangerous speech, right? Databases center on regulating misinformation, foreign propaganda, online harassment, extremist speech. Did the elder not just say that, right? While constitutional scholars and civil liberties groups continually push back to protect core free speech, right? Because speaking this truth, speaking this word, right? These things come upon you for my name's sake, right? This truth is going to be considered a hate speech in this place, because you got to think what we doing. We preaching the downfall of this place. We exposing their new order. The biggest threat to their new order, their new system, right? The NWO, the MOTB. The biggest threat to all of it is who? The assistant man, Yahweh Shah. The scriptures say he shall consume them with the spirit of his mouth. What's the mouth of the Lord right now? It's his prophets. So why you think they're always trying to make the prophet look bad or make this speech look bad, clown this word? Because it's the truth, right? And the truth, like the elder brought out, that second Ezra, I want to say 6, 27, 28, right? We'll grab it real fast. We'll come back to Matthew's. Second Ezra 6, right? Second Ezra 6 and verse 27 says, "For evil shall be put out, deceit shall be quenched." And that's what's going on. That deceit, that evil, all is being brought down, right? The light of the wicked shall be put out. What is that? Job 18, right? The light of the wicked is being put out. All the deception, all that, because you have the sensitive men, Yahweh here exposing his ways, right? Job 18:5 says, "Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine." All that deceit, the lies that he smeared out, the force of light he smeared out everywhere, is being exposed. Because what is his whole objective at the end of the day, right? To deceive everybody, trick everybody, and to bring in this newer order, right? Which now they're being exposed because the elect are speaking against it. The elect are exposing their ways, their motives, right? So now they want to use their power or their sword or their deception, right, to make this look bad, right? As we see, they want to stop the First Amendment, so they're gonna use accusations. They're gonna use things, right? They trying to say. Let me ask you something, right? Let me see. Right, we'll leave that up. I'm gonna grab another tab. Do they consider what? I'm trying to think how I want to ask them. What do they consider? Hold on. Yeah. What? It's like it. Okay. What do they consider Hebrew Israelites. Cause I remember one point, I think my Zabbai searched it up, right? See, look, right? Look. So, let me see. Right? So it says the black, see what they got going on. The black Hebrew Israelites. We're not black Hebrew Israelites, right? Our nation like it to a speck and bird, right? We're Hebrew Israelites, not black Hebrew Israelites, right? It says the black Hebrew Israelite movement is a decentralized religious group whose core belief is that the African Americans and sometimes other minority groups are true descendants of the ancient Israelites. Is highly fragmented, encompassing everything from peaceful spiritual communities to radical black supremacist organizations, right? So this is what it's doing. Look at black supremacist organization, right? Is it considered a cult? Whether black Hebrew Israelites are considered a cult depends on the specific faction, as their structures and ideologies vary drastically, right? Extreme sectionists, right? Civil rights organizations, like, and see, they may classify many radical black, but we're not black Hebrew Israelites, but verbatim, black Hebrew Israelites factions as a hate group or cult-like extremists, right? So this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna make this a hate group. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. I'm continuing to mention that. We're the Hebrew Israelites, right? Nation like it to a spectrum, bro. We look like everybody, not just so-called black people, right? But anyways, get on topic, right? They're gonna make this word. They're gonna make this truth. They're gonna make this knowledge understand. They're gonna make it a hate speech. Right? They're gonna make it. They're gonna because the accusations they're gonna bring out, the accusations they're gonna bring forth on the people, right? Ordo ab chao. So now it's like, hey, we need to start controlling the people, what they say, what they do, where they at. We gotta know all this, right? So if with all this quote unquote going on, with all these crazy things, this chaos going on in the world, we need to be able to control everybody, quote unquote. Right? What is that? MOTB, that market beat, making everybody a digital slave, where they can track you, where you at, where you going, how long it take you to get there, all of it, where your money coming from, how you spend it, where right? So let's go back to the scripture. It says Matthew 10, verse 17 says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, they will scourge you in their synagogues, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my name's sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles, right? Because that's going to be the time when they bring us forth, right? When they bring us forth, right? That's around the time. Matter of fact, let's go to the Blue Letter Bible now. I like what it says. I like what it says. It's gonna be the time we able to the truth. How about how shot? Take it from those councils. Stop speaking that word. Stop speaking that truth, right? Matter of fact, we're gonna go to Acts after this. Made me think of that. Matthew 10 and 18. It says, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, right? For a testimony against them and the Gentiles, right? But it says in verse 18 in NLT, you will stand trial before governors and kings because you are my followers. And this is what it's going to be, right? A lot of us going to be martyrs for this truth. Look, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. A lot of us going to face hardship, pain, suffering. We're going to face it for the name of Yahweh Shah, right? That's why the scripture says, then shall be known who are my chosen, because it's going to be a great insurrection for those who fear the Lord. Let's grab that real fast. We still can grab that Acts. This second Ezra 16, right? Around about verse 60, actually 70, right? It says, for there shall be in every city, right, in every place, and it's like there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? Because it's going to be hard for us during these times. Speaking the word, teaching the truth, they're going to have us labeled, man. They're going to have us labeled, right? They already creating the accusations, right? They already getting the evidence built up against it. It's like those movies, right? I like watching this movie. It's called, dang, I can't even think of it. Real fast. I'm gonna search it up real fast on my other phone. Olympus has fallen. No, is it? No, angel has fallen. Angel has fallen, right? So an angel has fallen. They frame Mike Bannon, right? They gather all the evidence up against them, right? They steal his DNA when they train with each other, right? And they gather all the evidence up against them, right? So when they frame him to make him like a bad person, and the people they got everything set up to where there's no way that you can prove that he didn't do it, right? But he the only one who didn't do it, right? It's like you real fast. Lucky for that. Right. My daughter. But anyways, right, back to what I was saying, right? So that's what Esau's on, right? He's gathering up his evidence, he gathering up his evidence, his accusations. So when they bring forth this, hey, we need to get on these guys. We need to stop this, right? The people, everybody in the world's eye view, right? They're gonna hate us for teaching the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. They're gonna make us look bad, right? So this is verse 71, right? Then shall they be like mad men, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? And this is going to martial law, right? But they're gonna be, that it ain't gonna be no more freedom of speech. It ain't gonna be you can't say what you want, you can't do what you want to do, you can't walk around, you can't do that no more, right? They're gonna be controlling everything, right? So for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, right? Because it's gonna get to a point to where look, you're gonna bow down and worship this system, right? Or you're gonna be going through suffering, hardship, pain. You're going to go through death, right? It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. They shall be tried as gold is tried, right? Because during this time, this how you going to know who the chosen maybe how about Yahshua is. A lot of people going to sell out. A lot of people going to give it because they ain't going to be able to hang on and take this suffering that comes with naming how about Yahshua. But like the elder going into his lesson as well, we've been building through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahshua. The spirit is building us up day by day to be prepared for this moment, right? To be prepared for these times. Right? So let's get back to Matthew's, right? 18 in NLT says, you will stand trial before governors and kings because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell the rulers and other unbelievers about me, right? Going through these suffering, going through pain hard. They don't mean we quit, don't mean we give up. That's for the time we stand firm even more. It's crunch time. It's overtime. We down 3. We need to clutch it, right? Matter of fact, it's tie game. We need to win the game. That's the time we need to be firm, standing firm on it, right? Verse 19 back in the KJV, right? I just read it out through the NLT. It says, when you are arrested, don't worry about how to respond and what to say. Yahweh, right, will give you the right words at that time. Verse 20, for it is not you who will be speaking. It will be the spirit of your Father speaking through you, right? And that's why during these times, right, we got to be on point. We got to be on point, right? We're going to go to Acts. I want to grab this real fast. 1 Peter 5, right? Like the elder mentioned sober. I want to grab this real fast. 1 Peter 5 and verse 8, it says, be sober and be vigilant. That means vigilant means to be watching, right? You got to be on point, right? A lot of Jake ain't sober because they drunk out their fornication in Babylon, drunk out the fornication of his life, partying, doing all these things, not even knowing we at the end of this thing. We at the end. This is the end of the end, right? They finna come with a great wrath because they know their time is up. They know they ain't got time left. So anybody who lacking, anybody who slipping, they gonna get you. It says, be sober, be vigilant, right? Be watching, vigilant mean watching, right? Because your adversary, the devil, is who Esau, Edom, right? You got the spiritual demon, doubt. You got the physical devils here on the earth, physical sons and daughters of Satan, right? Who's Esau, Edom, right? So-called white man, as a roaring lion walking about, seeking whom he may devour. And that's what he's doing, right? He's already setting up his accusations to get it on point. So Esau like to justify his actions, right? What I mean by that is like he like to set things in place to where when he make his moves, when he do what he do, they're justified, right? 9/11 for a sense, right? Do this. So when we go into Iran, Iraq, whatever it was, when we go over here and kill all these people, it's justified. Man, they blew up our building, quote unquote. They blew up our buildings, quote unquote. Right? Esau like to use these things. Order KO Esau. This is Esau. This is one of Esau's main moves with it. Right? But 2 Corinthians 2:11, I'm harking on that a lot lately. Right? We're not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his scheme. We're not ignorant of his plans. We're ahead of him. He can't confuse us and trick us with him. He can't outsmart us. We're ahead of him because we sober. Right? They don't got us drunk no more. Right? I was thinking, before I came to do this lesson, I was meditating the spirit fire. Doing the lesson, I was thinking, just using that as edification person, the most vulnerable people when they get taken advantage of any type of way, right? Not just one way, any type of way, is when they're drunk, right? People drunk, anything can happen to them. They wouldn't even realize it till they sober up. Well, we was in that drunken state, but we sobering up and realizing the deception and lies that we've been given by Esau, But now we have the spirit, we sobered up. Now we sober and we vigilant. So we see his moves, see his ways, see what he's trying to do, right? But all this made me think about Acts 5 when they told Peter, y'all got to stop naming Yahweh Shai. Because they didn't want this truth to go out. They thought when they killed Yahweh Shai, the truth was going to stop. But just like back then, even today, Yahweh Shai has men, those watchmen set up, still proclaiming and teaching the name of Yahweh Shai, teaching the truth, teaching the word. That's why Jude wrote that letter, right? He said you have to contend in the faith. You got to stand firm for the name of Yahweh Shai, right? So this is Acts 5, right? Start around verse 25, right? It says, then came one and told them, saying, behold, the men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, as they should have been stoned, right? And this is what you got to understand. That's why it says Romans 15:4, right? Things are written 4 times for our learning. Men of Yahweh Shai went through this. There ain't nothing to understand. We're going to face as well, but men of Yahweh Shai overcame it by what? Keeping the faith. They ain't sell out. They ain't give up, right? So you got to keep the faith to the end, right? It says, then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, lest they should be having stoned. And when they had brought them, they set them before council, and the high priest asked them, saying, Did we not straightly command you that you should not teach in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. What Peter and Apostles tell them. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Yahweh rather than man. That's our purpose. Right, the will of Yahweh Shem, no matter what we got to face or what we got to go through. And what the scripture says in First Peter, so Peter said, in First Peter, he said, think not it's strange, right? It's in First Peter 4 and 11. Think not it's strange, man. Right, there's fiery trials come upon you because we're gonna have to face that fiery trial. We're gonna have to face that persecution. We're gonna have to face all those things. But name Yahweh Shem. But Esau is setting it up to where when he do it, he don't look bad in the people's eye. You know, he's trying to deceive the people into making the Hebrew Israelite doctrine 100% true with with GMS, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. There's truth about Yahweh Shem Yahshua, who the true people are, who the true powers are. He's gonna make that a hate speech. He's gonna make that a crime in a sense to speak that way, right? We read about how well you see how they said, right, these specific groups are known. It's like the right here says the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I'm not mistaken, I think the elders just went into this Anti-Defamation League where they was actually paying certain groups to do certain things anyway. But anyway, it says in the Southern Poverty Law Center classified many radical Hebrew Israelite, not no black Hebrew Israelite factions as the hate group or cult-like extremists, right? That's what they feel. So that's why they come in with what order of chaos, controlling everything, martial law. Controlling what you say, what you eat, what you do, how you do it. How they gonna control all that? They want to put them chips inside of you. Want to put those, make you a digital slave where they control everything seriously. Right now they control everything, but you slick, and you able to maneuver a little bit. Well, when they bring this MOTB out and martial law and they Jacob trouble, there ain't gonna be none of that, right? Read it again. U.S. officials frequently discuss placing restrictions on the First Amendment, typically targeting what they classify as harmful or dangerous speech. What's harmful or dangerous speech to them? Anyone who's speaking and exposing their new world order. They not showing this to the people because it's a secret society. They don't want everybody to know it because they trying to gather up the evidence and the ways to make their stuff look good and make the men who's speaking against it look bad. But these are the things we were set to face, right? That the spirit of Yahweh Shai prepares us for. Because these men of Yahweh Shai are going to face these things because why? That serpent is sizing up his prey. That serpent is going to build up these accusations to come to help usher in his new world order, help usher in his system, right? There was another precept that I wanted to grab. I grabbed Acts 5. I can't think of it right now. Dang, I wonder. My mind just went blank. That was kind of. Oh, let me see. There's another one I wanted to grab. I grab this, see if it comes to me. I just grab it, see if it comes to me. 2 Corinthians 2:11, right? It says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes, right? So we are familiar with these things, right? He's been working this same MO for a long time, just that Jake is drunk. Jake is drunk, man, right? That's what I want to grab. Not from. Right? Isaiah 29 and 9, right? And it reads, it says, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not for strong drink. I read it in NLT. Are you amazed and incredulous? Don't you believe it? Then go ahead and be blind. You are stupid, but not from wine. You stagger, but not from liquor, man. What is it? They caught up in the deception, the wickedness of Yahweh, Slaki. They caught up in the wickedness of Esau, Edom, right? I heard the door open, it kind of threw me off, but they're caught up in the wickedness and deception of Esau, Edom, right? And these philosophies. Remember the Habakkuk chapter 2, around verse 5, where it tells they transgress by wine. They deceive and trick everybody by that wine. And Jake is caught up on. They're blind, right? What's it? Read it again. Are you amazed and incredulous? I'm reading the NLT, right? Don't you believe it? Then go ahead and be blind. You are stupid, but not from wine. You stagger, but not from liquor. This is Jake. This is Jake, man. Jake is lost. Ultimately, when you read down, it says, "For the Lord Yahweh has poured out a spirit of deep sleep," right? Meaning spiritually, right? They spiritually discern. They spiritually sleep. They're spiritually dead. Those are those dead bodies, right? They're easily deceived and tricked. They easily deceived by Esau's schemes, right? But we see it, right? What Elder said, we've been sober for a while now. Right, we see his move, we see his scheme. We've been pointing out his move. We've been pointing out all the ways he's been trying to usher in his MOTB. And when it comes, that's when a lot of Jacob believe. But at this point, it's going to be too late, right? He had closed the eyes of your prophets and visionaries, right? So because they will never be able to see it, understand this, not understand the truth, because Yahweh won't allow them to see it on this side. You know, they'll understand it sooner or later. I should say they'll lower themselves on this side. They won't get it, right? Because they're spiritually discerned, they're spiritually dead. They're drunken off that fornication. They're drunken off that wine of Babylon, their lifestyle. They caught up in all the ways, so they don't see what Esau doing. They don't see his motives. They don't see his the way he's trying to move and do things, right? And ultimately, right, when you see it, ultimately when it goes down and when it happens, right, what the scripture say, then shall you know the prophet has been among them. Because these are the things, Lord willing, we're going to that lesson later, right? Before these things happen, the Most High tell you these things happen. But through his prophets, he speaks these things, because there's a time and place for everything to happen to go down. But right now it's the mercy period. Right now is the mercy period of Yahweh informing us and building us up to sincere men, you know, women and children, Yahweh to be able to overcome these things. Remember, we should overcome by the blood of the Lamb and word of his testimony, and love not lives to death, really paraphrasing. Right, word of his testimony, spirit of prophecy, and love not lives to death, meaning what? If we gotta lay down and die for this truth, we're willing to do it. Right? Because we know what Esau's coming. Esau's coming with great wrath. We know it. Right? But he's trying to usher it in smooth ways to make it seem as if we the wrong, and when he do certain things to make it seem like they're doing the right thing. But they've been doing that this whole life. Right? What they've been doing, they've been doing everybody whole life. Lying, right? Making everybody take the evil for good and good for evil. Right? Wicked. Right? Just wickedness, pure wickedness. And everybody been caught up in deception. Everybody been deceived. Like Scripture said, they gross darkness. But now we're in the light. Now we have the light. Right? So now we on point. Esau can't get us no more. Right? But that, that hit me heavy in the spirit, man, because, hearing the brother say that, I just went into that lesson the other day about how, Esau is trying to use that. He's gathering up his evidence to justify what he's going to do. Right? And, but at the end of the day, right, we're on point through the spirit and power of Yahweh. We see it and we understand it, and he can try to think he outsmarting us, but we on point. We understand what we're gonna go through. That's why, like Elder Pastor Gabra always say, man, hey, you can't hurt a man who ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't got nothing to lose. We already knew you coming, right? Like those movies, they know they going to jail. They know they caught. They sit in the living room just sitting there in a rocking chair waiting on you. What they say, damn, what took you so long? That's how we looking at Esau. What took you so long, man? We already knew what was going on, man, right? So. Man, be sober and be vigilant, man, because we're in those times. Esau's trying to create his accusations. Esau's trying to create his he's trying to gather his evidence, to usher in his system. But we're on point. We see it, right? We see how he's using certain things and doing certain things to make this movement look bad and make the doctrine look bad, make the ministry look bad, but he can't, right? Because the spirit of Yahweh is going to flourish. It's going to overcome it all. In the end, the truth will be the only thing that's around. They will understand. In the end, the truth will be actually brought to the light. Right? The truth will be employed and put out to the whole world. And all the ones who didn't believe, who despised, they're going to be shamed. Right? right? So Lord willing, right? With that being said, hope the lesson edifying and exhausted. I had no precept, Lord willing, that I wanted to grab, but it slipped my mind, but like I said, the whole point, man, Lord willing, we try to let you know, be sober, be vigilant, man. Esau was building up his evidence, man. Esau was trying to build up his evidence. Esau was trying to build up his, his accusations, so that when he does what he does, it's justified. But it won't be, right? Just understand that it ain't for us to fight Esau carnally. It's for us to be in a spiritual mindset, because Yahweh Shai is going to handle the physical part. It's us to be on the mental and spiritual part, right? To be focused, right? To be able to withstand and stay strong to the end, because he didn't do it to the end, the saints shall be saved, right? So with that being said, Lord willing, right, hope the lesson was edifying and exalting. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shout out to the whole elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom.